Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Faye Ayadele, and I just wanted to make a comment out there to Brad Pitt. I just wanted to give you big ups, Brad, for all the wonderful work with the donations and all sorts of human charity work that you do over there in Africa and other parts of the world as well. And I think that's the big thing. A lot of people don't know both you and Angelina. I mean, they know and they hear certain things about you guys going over to Africa and other parts of the world adopting kids, but they really don't focus enough attention, I think, on the charity work that you guys do. Take, for instance, the $10 million that you donated to Sudan for, if I'm not mistaken, the medical center over there, and also the money that you actually gave to the Lost Boys of Sudan for the documentary that was made a while back that, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have enough funding, and you just pulled out your pocketbook pretty much, and you stroke a check for it. But those are all the wonderful work that you do that pretty much hidden from the mainstream. They hear a lot of gossip and a lot of rumor mongering about other things in the media that you do or that they suggest or assume that you do, but they never focus on the great work that you do. And I think that's the amazing thing about you, because if someone were to see you, you know how they say everyone, a lot of times in society, based on our persona, we judge a book by its cover. If anyone were to see you, we would think that, oh, well, Brad Pitt, he just looks like a nice looking quote unquote white boy. No offense, I'm not racist or anything like that, but that's how we will look at it from a black perspective. Like, oh, this white boy doesn't know anything. He's just out there, making money and living life. But you care. That's the important thing. You actually really do care, not just about the poor and unfortunate people of society, but actually black people. And that's amazing to me. Not that everyone shouldn't, but it's just the interest that I take in you for that, and I give you a lot of props and a lot of big ups for that, for all the humanitarian work that you've done over in Africa, both you and Angelina. And I believe a lot of people try as much as possible to focus on the unimportant or the miscellaneous things that are going on in the media, as opposed to paying attention to the more socially conscious and humanitarian work that you guys do. But having said that, the reason why I made this YouTube video was just to, I guess, comment on the new movie Waiting for Superman. I know you guys, being the educationally conscious people that you are, both you and Angelina, I'm sure you've either seen the movie or you've heard at least certain things about it. I saw the movie, and I just wanted to comment that the movie was a great and wonderful movie by David Guggenheim and Jeffrey Canada. And the movie went in depth about pretty much the inner city kids versus the middle class suburban counterparts versus the foreign counterparts overseas, and it gave a lot of in-depth explanation as far as the educational gap, as far as the achievement gaps and things of that nature. And it created, I believe, an awareness, probably that was either already there and just reaffirmed or predicated by the movie. And I just believe that the movie was a great, great and wonderful movie, like I said. But I also believe that the movie didn't shed enough light on the real serious issue at hand. And you and Angelina being humanitarians and very well conscious of what goes on in society and what goes on with overall with all the situations and poverty and all the epidemics and pandemics going all around the world. I know that is something of great concern to you as far as the educational system over here. You know, given the fact that there's a lot of people overseas that are going through a lot of issues as well, and a lot of people don't have homes. They suffer from natural disasters. They suffer from sicknesses and ailments and things of that nature. But over here in America, there's also a lot of issues going on as well. And right now, besides all the political bureaucracy and everything of that nature, the main problem that I believe that was brought out in the open by the movie or slash documentary Waiting for Superman was the educational system in this country today. In the movie, it reflected that too. It showed that out of 30 developed countries in the world, that America ranked 25th place as far as educational level. And that's alarming. That's an alarming statistics, because it's real, it's in depth, and it gives you an indication of how far we've come and how low we've gone since the beginning. And I just wanted to make a comment out there to you in reference to the movie that, like I said, once again, it was a great and wonderful movie, but the movie, I believe, lacked the other side of the story. As they say, there's always two sides to a story. The movie basically gave, like I said, all sorts of different statistics on the achievement gaps of the poor inner city kids versus the middle class suburban kids. And in the movie, it showed the parents both from the inner city and from the middle class roots. It showed that both of them were highly involved in the kids' education, and the kids themselves were very much involved in their education. And it was more or less like a partnership kind of work, because it wasn't just maybe the parents trying to convince the kids that they need to go to school and do all the necessary things they need to do to achieve things in life, but the kids, even as young as they were, the kids in the movie, all the kids were probably between the age of 7 and 12, and they were very conscious of what was going on, and they wanted to better themselves. And I think that's very important. And it gives an indication that, that there are certain people in society, whether they come from a lower class or upper class, that actually care about family values and about the future of their kids. But like I said, the other side of the story that I felt wasn't shown was the other side of the inner city, and the other side of the middle class suburbia, which is, I believe, in based on my own upbringings. I'm a product of inner city schools myself. I grew up in D.C. and attended D.C. schools for years, and I believe the other side of the story to that is the fact that a lot of kids nowadays, they're not interested in education. Most of them are mostly concerned about going out partying, having fun, going to clubs, things of that nature, listening to hip hop, and just doing all sorts of things that's pretty much out of the normal, conventional, orthodox way that probably myself and you grew up, way back when. Because I remember back in the day, it was all about go to school, get yourself a good education. At the end of the day, you buy a house with a white picket fence, and you raise a family, and get married, and everything would be fine and dandy. But nowadays, with the kids, with the current kids of this generation, you can't do that. You can't give them the same philosophy. You can't give them the same reassurance as as we were given when we were growing up. But having said that, like I said, the main problem that I believe that we have with the educational system today, which was which a lot of it was highlighted in the movie, is within the school system itself. You have a lot of political bureaucracy. You have a lot of back and forth with the teachers union. You have issues with the teachers themselves, with the schools, with all sorts of things that are going on within the school that actually bring down the school system, that are supposed to actually help it, then indirectly hurting the school system, and hurting the chances of the kids actually achieving something in life and going on to college and other higher educational level. But having said all that, Brad, I guess the main issue that I wanted to raise was this. Um, like I said, Waiting for Superman was a great and wonderful movie, but I believe that it raised an awareness that most of us were either already aware of, or something that just all of a sudden came up that we decided that, wow, this is really happening. I mean, it got really, really great reviews even from President Obama himself. But like I said, I believe it didn't shed enough light on the real problem at hand, which is the interest level of the kids. Kids nowadays, very, very different from the way they were, 15, 20, 30 years ago. You got kids in Columbine, killing other kids. You got kids bringing pipe bomb to school, all sorts of, just atrocious things that are going on that didn't happen, 20, 30 years ago when we were growing up, or when we were in school, and things of that nature. But having said all that, again, 5 years ago, I wrote a screenplay entitled Inner City High, and it addressed pretty much the same issues as Waiting for Superman, but it went more in depth as far as what was happening on the other side with the inner city youth, and all the things that they go through, all the environmental factors, the domestic issues, the persona, and things of that nature. And it incorporates it with what their interest levels are, because the interest level of the children is not going to school, getting a good education nowadays. It's more or less, hey, when's the next, who's having the big party, or who's wearing what, or who's doing what. And I believe that that's the biggest problem that we have today. A lot of politicians believe that if we have some kind of educational reform, that's going to fix the problem in the schools. But I believe if we would just stop for a second and listen to the children, and listen and ask them what their interest levels are, what they like, and what are they about. If we get into the minds and soul of these kids, I think the problem will be very, very clear, which is, I believe, is the interest level. They don't have interest in going to school and doing other things to better themselves. Majority of them, their biggest focus is this hip hop culture, and I'm sure you have kids as well, and you have that social awareness of what's going on in society right now. And right now, nothing is bigger than hip hop. All these kids, whether from white suburbia or from the inner city, everyone is somehow directly, indirectly involved in this hip hop culture. And I believe my philosophy is that if we can somehow incorporate this hip hop culture into the curriculum of the children, I think we stand a better chance of actually having them go on to graduate out of high school, going in on to college, and doing all sorts of better things, doing all sorts of things to better their situation and to better their life. But like I said, the biggest problem that we have right now is the political bureaucracy and all sorts of different suggestions coming from different avenues, from the Board of Education, from the teachers union, from the teachers themselves, from the parents, from you name it. Everybody has their own philosophy or their own ideology as far as how we can increase the standard of educational level in America. But I believe I do have that answer, and that answer is incorporating what they like, what their interest levels are, with what they with the school curriculum. I think that stands a better chance than all these other ideas or philosophies or any kind of advice or political or educational reform you can ever come up with. So like I said, like I was saying earlier, Brett, I wrote a screenplay 5 years ago entitled Inner City High, and this screenplay is a masterpiece. It's something that you definitely have to see. And I give a lot of props to your production company, Plan B. You guys have come out with a lot of great movies over the years, and even the current movies you're working on now, The Dark Void, The Imperfectionist, and I love the movie Troy. I love the movie The Departed. All these great movies that your production company came out with, or that you played or acted in. I believe they were great pieces of work, but I also believe that being the humanitarian that you are, and being the socially conscious and aware person that you are with what's going on in society, I believe that's the biggest problem in society now. Like I said, don't get me wrong, there's all sorts of atrocities and just all sorts of atrocious things going on all around the world. People are dying, people are hungry, and things of that nature. But right here in our home base or whatever, there's a lot of problems that's happening out there with the inner city. And I'm reaching out to you, and it's kind of funny because, on a regular basis, you would automatically assume that even if I wanted to reach out to someone, it would be someone that's maybe pro-black or on the same level with me. But like I said, a lot of people don't know that other side of you, or maybe make a choice not to want to bring it out, is the fact that you actually help black people. You're one of those few actors, or one of the few men of Hollywood, that they see you in a different social class, but yet you actually pay attention and you're aware of what's going on in the other side of the class. People pick you and deem you as, like I said earlier, this is Brad Pitt, he's with this uppity white group that really don't care about anybody but themselves. But you're actually not. You give money, you donate to a lot to Africa, and I'm originally from Africa myself. I'm from Nigeria. And so I see and I research all the wonderful work that you do, and that's why I'm making this YouTube video, to reach out to you. This script that I wrote 5 years ago is a remarkable script. It's not watered down, and it's not sugar-coated. This is real. It's very, very, very touching, very emotional script, and I believe that being the type of person you are, you would understand that. So I'm reaching out to you just to let you know that, if anything, I think this script can become probably one of the greatest movies made in probably the last 20 years in Hollywood. Because let's face it, the movies that's been coming out in Hollywood for probably the past 10 years, a lot of them is just watered down garbage, and you know that better than anybody. And I'm assuming that's one of the reasons you opened up your own production company, so you can make genuine movies that could actually create something, whether it's a social awareness, whether it's a movie to make people laugh, to cry, to just get something out of them. At the end of the day, when they watch the movie, they want to gain something from it. And I believe the script, the screenplay, Inner City High, this is my masterpiece of work. I mean, I've written other screenplays in the past, but this, I believe, is a masterpiece upon masterpiece. And I really think you need to take a look at it and see for yourself, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Get at me, Brad, FEYI02@AOL.com, and let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm sure once you see the script or the screenplay, you'll definitely agree with me on that. See you soon.